Hi and welcome back to my channel. I am Caspian and I read a lot of books, mainly library books. And today I'm going to talk about two of those. Two that I have recently read, and I'm making this short video because I want to talk about them while I still remember much of them. And I'm going to return them to the library tomorrow probably. So I thought I was gonna do this today. So, these are two books that I read just the past week, and one is from my February TBR, but I read it the last days of January, and the other one is not on my TBR, not on my TBR from my Shamanic Journey TBR game, but it was on my TBR for February, and I hoped to read it because I had it home from the library, and I wanted to prioritize it. So I read this one. I started it when I had like 5 days left in January, and I read it in like 3 days, and then I started this one and I finished it yesterday. Today is the 5th of February, so this took a bit longer. And both have ghosts in common, and they both have sex with ghosts in common. So yeah. So this one I gave a 4 stars, I think, and I really enjoyed it. I might have given it even more. I might have given it closer to a 5-star rating. I really enjoyed this, and I started to look up other books by this author immediately. So I think I have one. I'm on the waiting list for one at the library. So in this book we have Nolan Callahan, and he is a ghost, and he's the ghost of the past, and he is stuck haunting people and meeting like the worst of the worst, and helping them see what they have done wrong so that they can hopefully choose a new path going forward. And in this book he meets Harriet York, which starts off like a regular haunting situation, and so this book takes place in December, so it's a Christmas book. So he haunts her from the 1st of December, and his deadline is Christmas Eve, when he's supposed to give his client over to the next ghost. The problem is that Harriet doesn't seem to be a bad seed. She doesn't seem to be a bad person. Everything that when they are visiting her past, they seem to just visit memories where she have been kind of not like her parents were really awful to her and also to her sister, and they're all memories where she is being treated badly by them. So they don't really understand, and then all of a sudden they end up in one of his memories, and he doesn't understand a thing about it. So they're trying to figure out why that is happening, and if they have another connection than the one that they're supposed to have, because she seems to be such a good person. And they're trying to figure all of this out, so it's kind of a mystery situation, while of course falling in love, because the cover is the spoiler. So this is a Christmas romance with like paranormal, it's a paranormal book with and he's a ghost, so hence the sex with a ghost. And I actually enjoyed this book quite a lot. He wasn't one of my favorite people, but I could really see myself in Harriet and how she like her personality and how she formed relationships with other people, and kind of how she, yeah, I could see myself in her, and I didn't have the best childhood. I didn't have the best childhood either, so maybe that's why. So yeah, and I really fell for this couple, and I read it like this. Whoop. And yeah, I really enjoyed this book. Recommend, highly recommend. B.K. Morrison, Good Spirit, if I didn't say. And then we have this one, Phantasma, by Kaylie Smith. I think that's how you pronounce that name. And in this book, there's also a ghost. So in this book, we follow Ophelia and her sister Genevieve, but we follow Ophelia. So we don't follow Genevieve, but she is a part of the book. In the beginning of the book, their mother dies, and Ophelia has to take over not only the family business that has to do with death, because her mother is a necromancer, and the magic is being handed down to Ophelia when the mother dies. Well, she has a choice to take on the magic or not. There's like a window of opportunity when the mother has passed away. So she does that, and takes on the family business and being a necromancer, and yeah, the business has to do with reviving dead people and that sort of thing. But in this book, truth be told, we don't see much of that business, because as soon as the mother's passed away, Ophelia finds out some things when her sister goes missing. Well, she doesn't really go missing, but she runs away, and she runs to something called Phantasma, which is this big house where you can go through different trials, and the winner gets like a wish. And their mother has left them in debt with the house. The house is indebted, and they so Ophelia finds out that Genevieve has probably run away to Phantasma to get a wish of clearing the debt. So of course she runs after, and so there's trials in this book, and Ophelia strikes a deal with a phantom, a ghost, to help her through the trials, and because she can't know if her sister is there until after the 7th of the 9th trials, of the 9 trials. So every trial, there's 9 trials, and she has to survive 7 of them to even know if the sister is there. So that's the premise of the book, and of course this is a romantasy, so there's a romance going on, between the Phantom and Ophelia. And if you don't want any spoilers, this is where you should just skip to the end. Because I did not like this book. I read it completely. I gave it a 2-star rating. And I think I could have given it a 1 star. But I did finish it. And the reason I finished it is because I wanted to know if she was gonna meet her sister. I was like, I need to know what happens. I need to stand this book long enough to know if she finds her sister and gets the happy ending. You know, I really wanted that, to know that. And the more I read, I was like, I hope they meet it at the end, because there's a second book, Enchantra, and I was like, if there's a cliffhanger at the end of this book, and she doesn't meet her sister, I'm gonna draw blood somewhere. There's a lot of blood in this book. It's a lot of blood. So, spoilers. I didn't like this book because Ophelia seemed so immature, and I understand that she has an excuse to be, because she's been sheltered her whole life. She's been kind of groomed to only become this necromancer, and she hasn't really had a social life. She's had she kind of only spent time with her mom and her sister, and she isn't really that mature. She's 23, I think, in this book, but she acts like she's 15 or 16, something like that. And so the one thing was her immaturity, like the choices that she made. I was like, no, come on, really? Ugh. And then the other thing I didn't like was the trials. The trials were not up to par, I would say. I didn't think that I think the trials could be so much more. The trials are themed after the 9 sins, like the 9 circles of hell. And the first couple of trials were, I was like, okay, I get where this is going. I understand, and that's okay, great. They were kind of, imaginative. They were okay. And then it just got worse from there. I didn't like them at all, because in one trial, they just entered the trial, made a choice, and then they were out of there. And I was like, I could have written this better. What the F is this? So it feels like the author just went with trials because trial books are popular, but she didn't really, or they, that's the pronouns of the author that they state at the end of the book. She, they. So it feels like they chose trials because it's popular, but they didn't really have an interest in going deep with the trials. And I was in it for the trials. I was in it for the storyline, mostly because the romance between Ophelia and the Phantom was not my cup of tea. I'm sure it's some people's cup of tea, but to me it was just too gory and too much blood. You need to kind of enjoy blood, and I enjoy vampire books just as much as the next person. I adore Carissa Broadbent's books, vampire books, and I have read other vampire books, but that's not the same thing. This was disgusting. This was not my cup of tea. So I don't really hold that against the author, because, the author, it's not their problem that it's not my cup of tea. So that's kind of the least of my problems. But it did make me skip pages, like just skim them, because I didn't want to read about those episodes. After the first one, I was like, the second one, I was like, I think I got the ick halfway through the book. I was like, no. I want to know what happens, but I'm not reading about the relationship anymore. So I kind of just started skipping, and not skipping like just not reading it all, but I skimmed through it and just like, okay, they're still a big going at it. Okay, oh, blood. Okay, no, thank you. Okay, there they ended it. Now they have their clothes on. Now I can continue reading properly. So I'm so glad I read this like this. I'm so glad I'm not into audiobooks, because if you're not into that kind of sex with blood and gore and that sort of thing, don't listen to this. I would say don't listen, because I couldn't imagine listening to this book. So I think those were my main issues. I did enjoy the twist at the end, and there was a satisfying ending. I'm so glad that the ending was satisfying, and that's kind of what gave it the 2-star rating. Because halfway through I was ready to DNF, and I was like, no, I want to know if she meets her sister again. I want to know what happens, and so I followed through, you can say. And the book followed through on that. And I have little to no desire to read the second book. I'm curious, so I'm gonna read a synopsis, because I don't know. I don't know. Because I don't know. I think I want to read the second book, if that makes sense. So, okay, yeah, that's it from me today. So 2 books about ghosts, 1 good. Because a bit into this book, I was like, is it the ghost? Is it the ghost having sex that I don't like? And then I thought, but I just read this one, and I enjoyed this one. So no, it's not about the ghost having sex. It's the gore of the sex. So, yeah. That's just my 2 cents, and yeah, I'm reading another book with ghosts now, but it's not romantic, so I hope it's gonna kind of cleanse my palate a little bit. But yeah, thank you for watching. I will see you in whatever comes next, and happy reading, everyone. Let me know if you've read any good ghost books lately. Maybe some with this kind of ghost, or yeah, just let me know if you've read any good ghost books lately, because I enjoy a good ghost now and again. So, shingling.